Let me begin by asking everyone in this room, do you hear the silence? This is the sound of House Republicans conducting no oversight of President Trump. Zero. That is what it sounds like when they abdicate their duty under the Constitution. We've been asking for months for basic oversight of the President and his advisors and their ties to Russia. But our chairman, Jason Chaffetz, has not lifted one finger. Asking everyone in this room a very simple question. Flynn was secretly communicating with Russian officials at the same time that Russia was attacking our democracy. Flynn may have violated the Logan Act by discussing the sanctions imposed by the United States in response to Russia's attacks. We have no idea why Flynn was doing all of this and why he was trying desperately to help Russia. And I know he's now resigned, but he's not going to get off that easy. We need some answers to a whole lot of questions. But the obvious questions are, what did the president know and when did he know it? Was the president aware of Flynn's efforts? Did he support them? Last night we learned that the Justice Department warned the White House counsel 3 weeks ago that Flynn secretly talked with the Russians about sanctions and may have lied about it to the vice president. Do you hear that?
But I will say this, I didn't know until I heard from our colleague that the tweet of General Flynn today was scapegoat. Scapegoat. You know what a scapegoat is? That means in a community where people want to absolve themselves of guilt, they get a goat and they heap all of the ills onto the goat and then they run the goat out of town. So the inference to be drawn from his statement is that other people have blame that should be shared in all of this. It's an important issue, the national security of the United States. It's really there. We want to know by what authority did General Flynn have these conversations and who did he report to after that, among the other questions that our colleagues have posed. I'm sure they'll be pleased to answer any questions.
I think there are two aspects to the National Security Advisor of the United States had misled other administration officials who had in turn misled the American people. And they were okay with that. The administration was okay with the fact the American people were laboring under the falsehood that they had not discussed the sanctions with the Russians. The resignation of Michael Flynn was brought about not by discovering the falsehood, but by the fact that the falsehood became public. And that ought to be deeply disturbing to everyone. I wanted to begin by just making a few observations and then invite my colleagues.